What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Empty the Benches. Nick and Mac back with you for another one. Mac, how was the weekend, my friend? Saw you getting up to some shenanigans out in Wisco.
Yeah, it was good. We had a very snowy weekend here, but my buddy and I, friend of the program, Anders, we decided to walk all the way from my house to Elwoods on Saturday, and once we got there, just watched a bunch of hockey and had some pizza, some beers. It was a good time, good old fashioned, just a nice guys' day,
Yeah, everyone needs a snow day. Was definitely throwing me back to some of those like snow days in college where you just throw on like a hoodie, a beanie, a hockey jersey, and just, go for it all day. And I mean, those were always my favorite days on campus. So it just looked like you guys had a blast.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was good. I've been long overdue for like a proper snow day like that, and just a day where I can sit on my ass and watch a lot of hockey games. So it's good to get back to that kind of activity.
Definitely, definitely. Lots going on in this episode, but I know you wanted to kick things off with a little question of the day for us.
Yeah, I saw a little bit late since Thanksgiving passed, but it is a good holiday. I figured maybe we'll just let it live on just a little longer. And I did see this awesome post from our friends over at Slapshot about what every NHL team is thankful for this year. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want you to give me a team. I will tell you what they said, and then we can decide if that's what they should mostly be thankful for, or if there's something better we can think of for that team. So let's do three of them. What's the first team you want me to spit you?
Let's go with something that's not going to be contentious at all and start with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay. All right. Well, our boys at Slapshot had Johnny T's contract is what they should be most thankful for.
Honestly, kind of okay with that right now, given how everyone else on that team is playing. Yeah,
yep.
It's a mess for them right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's right. You were at the game too in person. So how did they look?
They didn't look good. I'm going to be straight up and honest. I mean, they had the Caps on the ropes for a decent amount of that, end of first period, beginning of second. I think it's very obvious that the Caps had some lengthy Thanksgiving dinners. We all know that team likes to have fun on their off days, and I think the boys were playing a little bit sleepy. But yeah, there's a lot of guys on that team that just aren't really doing anything. And I hate to be this guy, but I'm kind of looking at 34 as the number one guy that's not really doing anything right now. I was there at the game with our good buddy Nick Bowens, obviously huge Leaf fan, and he and I had talked about this at length. But, when you're making that amount of money and you're the guy, they got rid of one of the guys, so you are the guy now. You kind of got to do something. So you can't just sit there and do nothing. And, I know he's kind of got these little injuries that just keep popping up. It seems like this phantom illness just won't go away. So I don't know what the situation is there. I guess only he knows or doctors know. But, I think that's a big reason why I don't think he's going to end up breaking the Ovechkin goal record like everyone else seemed to think he was.
Yeah, I think you make a lot of good points there. I also, I hate to bring this up, but I do sometimes wonder if the whole shift of moving the C off of Johnny T's sweater, moving it onto Austin Matthews' sweater, I wonder, I know at the time it seemed like everyone was super cool about that. It wasn't weird. Johnny T was like, no, this is Austin's team moving forward. At the time it seemed chill, but I do kind of look back at that a little bit and wonder, I don't know, was there some stuff with each of them, underlying, maybe Johnny T was like, Loki, this is bullshit, or AM34 was like, Loki, I don't need to be the captain. I just wonder if that was a little bit of a forced thing by management just for optics, and maybe it didn't sit right with those players because I don't know. I'm speculating now, but.
No, I think you make a good point. And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this. I think it actually makes more sense to trade your captain than it does to change who's captain, because the only thing you're doing when you change who the captain and who the vocal leader of a team is you're just stirring things up in the room. You're just messing with things. You know this, I know this. We've been in those situations before. We've been in locker rooms before. All you want to do when you're playing a sport like that is just keep it simple, go back to what you know, rinse and repeat day in and day out, get a mojo going and move forward. And yeah, I think you make a good point that that probably wasn't the best situation or the best decision, altogether.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on from the Leafs, we'll say that one's pretty accurate. They should be thankful for John Tavares' contract. Give me another team.
Let's go with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
All right, the Pens. Slapshot has this as they should be thankful for revitalization under Muse.
Under Mandark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. He's definitely a breath of fresh air. And I mean, fresh air as air under the age of 21 years old, because we all know Mike Sullivan wasn't going to do that. So I think that is clearly paid dividends for this Penguins team. I think that's a good word for the Penguins, I would say, revitalized.
Yeah. I mean, you could go on and on with things they should be thankful for this year. Sid still being Sid. Obviously the new coach situation working out so far so good, and goaltending too. Just to add to the list while we're talking about it. I mean, holy shit, their goaltending has been way better than anyone thought it would be, myself included.
Yeah, I mean, it basically did have nowhere to go but up, but, given the last couple of years, but it is, you're spot on. It has gotten significantly better than what we all thought it was going to be and what you and I thought this team was going to look like this year. I think they've surprised just about everyone.
All right, give me one more NHL team, and then we'll move on to the meat and mashed potatoes of the episode.
Nice. Well, I am wearing the Sharks tarp. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. But let's go with the San Jose Sharks.
For the Sharks, Slapshot has they should be thankful for Askarov looking dominant, and that he has so far. The goaltending has been good there, and I know, with how much potential we all know that guy has, especially all of our Milwaukee Admirals / Predators fans out there that know how much talent this guy has. I think we're finally starting to see it at an NHL level this year for the Sharks of all teams.
It's great that they have another goalie that can be consistent for them. I think that's something that, it's been a while since the fans in San Jose have been able to say that. And yes, I am going to go back even prior to Martin Jones taking you to the Stanley Cup final, because that was a fluke. Let's call it what it is.
Evgeny Nabokov.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be Nabby for me. I mean, maybe even Antti Niemi I would give as like stable in there too.
Yeah.
I like that for the Sharkies, though. It has been fun to see them. Now it's like, I feel like people are probably going to get sick of this. Like, you open, the NHL app, or you turn on NHL Network, and inevitably all you're going to see is Bedard, Celebrini, Will Smith, that thing over and over again, because they're the NHL's babies right now. But it really is so good for hockey in that area, and I think that's a really, really important up-and-coming hotbed for it.
Absolutely. Well, just as a bonus, I'll throw one final one in here that I think needs no discussion. It's just the funniest one on the list, and that is that the New York Rangers should be very thankful that only 41 games are being played at Madison Square Garden this year. So, with that, why don't we move into the episode?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they should also be thankful that there's only 24 hours in a day for people to roast them on social media for how bad of a hockey team they are right now. But let's go ahead and move on. Not a great situation going on across the pond for our Olympic pond right now. I know you and I have a lot to say about this, but the Olympic situation has sort of gone from like, hey, maybe keep your eye on this, to, oh crap, this could get bad really fast. So it was revealed today that the ice surface for the upcoming Olympics, which are in Milan Cortina in 2026, if you aren't aware, is about 3 to 4 feet smaller than an average NHL ice surface, which is already smaller than the Olympic surface that the IIHF usually uses for these major international tournaments. Now, I think it is worth pointing out that in 2010 and 2022, the Olympic used NHL-sized rinks. However, in other Olympics, like the 2014 one, I believe they used big ice. I would love to see them just use big ice, but right now it seems like the bigger issue is I'd like to see them just use ice, because right now there's no plan B. We don't know what the situation with this building is going to be, and we continue to hear that it's just not ready, and it doesn't look like it's going to be ready.
I just have to I can't keep reading these headlines. Every time I open Instagram and see something about it, I actually just need to scroll past it because I am so excited for Olympic hockey. I will be so devastated if this shit doesn't work out that every time I see some rumor like this, I can't even think about it. I just have to scroll past it and just fucking trust the process that somehow, some way this shit is going to get figured out because it's not doing me any good to worry about it because it's just making me more upset. I want Olympic hockey. I know we all do real bad, so they better get this shit straightened out.
Yeah, they really need to, and they've had time to do it. And I don't know, we could go on for hours about the hows and the whys that this hasn't gotten done. I think, the guy that came out, he's chief operations officer for the Winter Games. He told the AP on Saturday that there is no plan B. That's a direct quote. So that's a problem to me because right now it seems like plan B would become plan A very quickly based on what we've been hearing. And what I said to you and our buddy Harry in our group chat this morning was, I'm wondering if we are going to get to a point where this just needs to be done somewhere else, where there's just like the hockey portion of the Olympics needs to be done in a place where they have the facilities and the infrastructure in place to just do this already. If it's not going to be up to speed in Milan Cortina. And the example I used for you guys was Paris, what was it, 2024 Summer Olympics? They did the surfing for the surfing event for the Olympics. They did it in Tahiti. I know that's, a French protectorate or whatever, so technically still counts, but it is like a 15-hour flight away. So.
No, I mean, I would have zero problem with that, and I don't think most people would have an issue with that. They just want to see this get played. But I wonder if it's like a pissing match with them, with the who's in charge. If it's like oh no, it's gonna be here, it's not gonna happen at all, right, kind of thing. Maybe that's what it is. I don't fucking know. It seems like it's some kind of stupid pride thing or something. But yeah, whatever. Just find a fucking way to make it happen. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and I think we see, like, with a lot of Olympic stuff, like, I'm sure there's already been handshake deals in place for, businesses and partners that are in that area that are expecting to see some form of return in finances out of this situation.
Yeah. And we all know that, like, Olympics, all of it, it's so corrupt, it's so absolutely secretive, and I'm hoping that when he says there's no plan B, I'm sure there's got to be a plan B, but they probably just want to play it off like there isn't right now because they really want whoever it is that's in charge of the fucking rink thing to get their shit together and make it happen. So there's definitely a lot of like wink, wink, handshake, nudge, nudge shit going on. And that's kind of why I'm just scrolling past all of it, trying not to get too worried about it and hoping that when it comes time for the Olympics, we're going to be just watching Olympic hockey and we won't have to stress about it.
And I'm sure, even trying to come up with a plan B, if there is not actually one at this point in time, is difficult. I think, I'm obviously not in charge of this. My brain goes to, hey, you're in Milan already. Just go a little bit further north into Switzerland, a country with a dedicated pro hockey league, and see if you can work something out where like one of those local teams, you can use their facility or something, which I know in the middle of the season is probably not doable at this point. And then you're talking logistics of, getting those guys there, and you have to do a separate Olympic village for those guys in a different country. I'm sure that is a huge pain in the ass. And like you said, I think that's a great point, is you don't want to lose face on doing this. You don't want to like undersell something that's going to have so much attention on it because it's one of the sports, like we see in Summer Olympics with basketball, Winter Olympics with hockey. It has such a professional sports draw to it. There's going to be people that watch this and no other Olympic event throughout this entire gathering.
I'm low-key probably one of them. I mean, I'll catch a
You're
glimpse
not going to watch women's downhill moguls? Come on.
Listen, I'll catch a glimpse of some skiing and whatever the hell else is on my TV, but I'm not going to be going out of my way to like wake up at crazy times of day to watch anything but hockey, and I will be doing exactly what I just said to watch hockey, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, this needs to get fixed. I think this would not only be a disaster for the IOC. The IOC can overcome a disaster. They do it every 4 years. The NHL can't overcome a disaster like this.
Yes, well said.
Let's go ahead and move on to something that is equally wild, but in a more positive way. Let's go back to North America. And I just want to run you by a couple things here. So I'm going to list 3 teams that have more points in the standings than the San Jose Sharks and the 3 that have less. So the 3 that have more than the San Jose Sharks in the standings as of December 2nd in the year 2025, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Utah Mammoth, and the Seattle Kraken. The teams that have less points than the San Jose Sharks at that time period, the Edmonton Oilers, the Florida Panthers, and the Winnipeg Jets.
And for clarification, before somebody comes and yells at us, yes, we know there are more than 3 teams that are better than the Sharks in the standings right now. But those 3 you would not have expected to be saying are better than the Sharks. And that is absolutely shocking. The Blackhawks, Mammoth, and the Kraken. And yeah, what Oilers, Panthers, Jets, that's even more shocking to me.
That's the part that does it for me is like, that's crazy. Because like we all know where the Sharks are in the standings. Like the future is bright. I know it's on its up and up, but we still know where everything rests with them. So I think that's mind-blowing. Now, do I think those teams inevitably get it together? Yes, we've talked at length about the Florida Panthers injury situation. We know about the Hellebuck injury situation in Winnipeg. I think those guys probably find their way out of it.
And we know that the Oilers, obviously, that's right. They're just healthy. No, never mind. They're fine. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with them, but...
Yeah, it's a good point. It's interesting. I don't really know what the solution is there, but I mean, we are now past the month of November, which you and I talk about. We've talked about the critical month of November for 6 years in a row now. So, it's officially go time, I would say, for some of these teams. They definitely need to get it together.
That's right. Well, should we? Oh wait, no, we've got something else before we empty the mailbox.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Tage Thompson. So the big fella himself, all 6'7" of him. We know he got hurt on a hit by Stefan Noesen last February. It was high, it was late. I know that had a lot of social media fallout from that hit. I know Sabres fans wanted him to be suspended for 99 games or whatever it was, but he didn't need to do that. He got his own retribution over the weekend. Just beat the wheels off the dude. Your thoughts on that?
Extremely badass. I mean, I could list a handful of reasons why Tage Thompson is somebody that everyone in the NHL wants on their favorite hockey team, myself included. But this is so fucking cool, man, to not have somebody else do your dirty work. And I'm not even saying that's necessarily a bad thing. I recognize there's a lot of superstars in the league that we don't need throwing their own fists to, solve their own battles and that kind of stuff. But it's so badass that he does it because he can. I mean, he's gigantic. Might as well just handle it himself. He's like, now, you know what? I remember what you did to me. I kept the receipts. I'm going to beat the fucking wheels off you. And that he did. And I mean, Nason's no slouch either when it comes to that thing. He can chuck him a little bit. So I that was a great fight. Really cool to see. Hats off to Tage.
Yeah. And credit to Nason for answering the bell. I think you know what's coming at that point. Just stand in there and do your best. And that's what the guy did. So
that's right.
Yeah, massive respect to both of those guys for handling it that way. And it's just, I think that's a great example of how the game polices itself when the league and the refs don't.
Yes, very well said.
Let's go ahead and empty the mailbox. You guys sent in some hilarious stuff. We picked the 3 best ones from this week. So Kyle Palmieri for Glue Guy of the Year after he sets up a goal, blowing out his ACL, still getting an assist on the way to the bench. I mean, I wish I could show that to every soccer player on the planet right now and just be like, do it this way, man.
It is like one of the coolest plays I've maybe ever seen. When I was in this is a good story. When I was in 3rd grade, I want to say somewhere around there, I actually wrote an essay about how you remember when Chris Clark had I think he took a shot off the side of the hat or something, and his ear was kind of fucked up, partially detached type situation. But he got up and he didn't wait for a whistle. He got up and kind of finished the play in the zone and then hobbled off the ice to deal with that. I wrote an essay about, I think it was supposed to be an essay about perseverance or something like that. And I chose to write it about that topic as a 3rd grade child. Teachers definitely had a lot of questions, wanted to know a little bit more context about that one with my parents. But you know what? This would be if I was in third grade right now, this is what I would be writing it about, because holy shit, what a hockey guy play from Kyle Palmieri. I love that if you look at it too, you can almost like, you see the official go over there and they're having some kind of conversation about, you know, you good, man? Like, I can blow it dead. And then he's like, well, now I can't because they have the puck. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll go deal with it. Just strips the guy the puck. And yeah, so you got to see that clip if you haven't. That is some, like you said, serious glue guy shit and serious hockey guy shit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It just reminds me of that play. What was it, the 2011 playoffs when Bruins player Gregory Campbell breaks his leg and then finishes a shift for like another 30 or 40 seconds.
Yeah, and like
I think it goes like
shot too.
Yeah, I think it goes another step further than that, just because not only does he strip the puck, but he sets up a goal going the other way. And then, like, literally, I don't even know if he ever saw the puck go in because he was probably halfway down the tunnel by that point.
No, he was. They show him down the tunnel, and, like, the trainer and some guys on the bench are still, like, reaching over to give him, like, pats on the head. Like, dude, nice assist. That was really fucking dope. And he's just like, I don't care. I don't care. I just tore my ACL. And you could tell, too, like, right when he falls, like, he's grabbing the back of the leg. You knew right away what it was.
Yeah, and feel bad for the guy because that is not a fun injury, especially at this point in your career. I think they've said, what, like 6 to 8 months minimum?
How old is he?
That's a great question.
34.
He's definitely getting up
okay,
there.
I thought it was worse than that, but...
Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like he's been in the league since I
or...
was, like, in third grade, but okay.
Probably just because he's had a beard the entire time.
Yeah, right.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next question from the mailbox. Use one word to describe the Hawks bringing back the black sweater.
Ooh, one word. I'm going to go classic. I just think that reminds me of like the time that I was kind of really, I mean, I had been into the NHL for a little bit at that point, but it kind of just reminds me of that like 2010 era of like really being fired up about NHL hockey and being like a young kid playing hockey. All I wanted to do all the time, play hockey, watch hockey, either mini sticks, video game, on the ice, whatever it was, it related to hockey. And that's what I think of when the Hawks were repping those black tarps.
I'm going to have to just say nails. It's completely nails. It looks so sick. It's super intimidating too, which I think is really, really cool. I genuinely think 90% of NHL teams should do this.
I saw the whatchamacallit, the schedule. That's the word I'm looking for. The schedule of the games they're wearing these for. And one of the games they're going to rock them at is Caps Hawks in Chicago, which I go to every year. So
nice.
I'll get to see those beauties in person. That'll be great.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that they like released those right after the Stars did theirs, and they're like, oh no, we're going to do this right and actually bring back the jersey everyone wants.
Way better. Yeah.
Significantly better. Last question in the mailbox. It looks like that the front runners for Kiefer Sherwood at the trade deadline are going to be the Canadiens, the Wild, and the Dallas Stars. Among those teams, who do you think would gain the most from a player like him?
I think we said it on a recent episode. It might have even been last week, but I think he'd be a perfect Minnesota guy. For a number of reasons, but I just think they could really use somebody like that. Don't go to Dallas, bro. That's so boring.
The Habs. I just don't know if there's a spot there too.
Yeah, that too. But the Habs, I'm sure the Habs could find a role for him. But I would just not. I would let's not bring him to the Eastern Conference if we don't have to.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Habs are necessarily going to want to give up another first-round pick, especially following that Noah Dobson trade. So I think they might be, just looking at their group going, hey, it's probably not, we're probably not going the distance. Yeah, I mean, you never know, but probably not going all the way this year. But we're set up really, really good for the next 5 to 7. So let's just ride this thing out and see what we can do.
Mac, before we move on, I think you have a word from our friends over at DraftKings, who are the proud sponsor of this episode.
Yes, I sure do. The NBA season tips off, and so does DraftKings' newest fantasy game. DraftKings Pick 6 is the easiest way to play for big wins, with every possession giving you a shot at real money. Here's how to play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more stats and unlock the upside every game brings. Pick 6 is available in Texas, California, Missouri, and more. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus bets with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Don't just watch basketball, cash in. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, let's do the weekly recap. So great end to the month of November for your Washington Capitals, my Washington Capitals as well. 4 straight wins to finish off that month. I want to run some numbers by you real quick. So a 5-1 win over Columbus, a 4-3 win over Winnipeg, a 4-2 win over Toronto, and then a big 4-1 win on Long Island. All of those games, 4 or more goals. Just saying.
That's big stuff. Which one of those wins was most impressive to you?
I'm going to have to say the one on Long Island. That's, Sunday Caps road game. You're like, oh, crap, here we go. Like, the only thing that could have been worse is if they were wearing, like, that old blue sweater that we finally got rid of. But, I'm going to say that one. They just dug in. Great plays all around. Great assist on that Wilson goal by Sorokin. That was awesome. Hell of a pass. But yeah, that was great. It was good to see them really dig in the back half of that Toronto game. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I think they were a little bit sleep deprived. Let's go with that to start that game off. But they really dug in. And once they started moving the puck around, there was not a damn thing the Leafs could do to keep it off their stick. That pass by Ryan Leonard to set up Jacob Chikrin for that go-ahead goal was unbelievable.
Yes, that was amazing. I think that the Leafs game really felt like a game that we lose. Like, it just felt like there's no fucking way we win that game. And they found a way to get in the win column. And like you said, even just going into that Long Island one, the setup, the recipe for it, it felt like one you maybe throw away at the end of the day. But no, that was another impressive one. We're on a roll. I'm excited to see what they do on this West Coast road trip. I will actually be at the game on Friday in Anaheim, so I'm really excited to go back. I've been to that arena once before, but it's been a handful of years now, so excited for that.
Headed back to the Duck Pond. So yeah, they have the Kings tonight that we're recording this, which is Tuesday night. The Sharks, I believe, Wednesday night, the day you guys are listening to this, and then you will be there Friday. So that's awesome to see. I like where they're at now in this division. I think now is the point where you can really start looking at numbers and points in the standings here. You know, we've got obviously teams like the Avs are just in complete cruise control that are already, 8-9 points ahead of other guys in their division. But I like where the Caps are at with 26 games played, 32 points. They're sitting in that 3rd spot in the Metro right now behind Jersey and Carolina. And I'm completely content with sitting there. And obviously it would be great if they could get their way up to that top spot, but I think given what we've seen from those two teams to start this season, I'm more than happy with 3rd.
Yeah, and I think things are starting to make a little more sense just kind of division-wise, how it's shaking out. Early on, you're like, how is this team where they're at in the standings? Obviously, it's small sample size, but like you said, now you can kind of start to look at these standings, get a little more meaning out of them, and, honestly, at least those top 3 of Carolina, then New Jersey, then the Capitals, that could be where it ends up at the end of the season. I don't think that would be too surprising to anybody.
Yeah, it is still crazy, though, that the Rangers, and I know it's only by a handful of points, are dead last in this division at this point in the season. It is great to see. Do I think it's going to stay that way? Absolutely not, but, crazier shit has happened, right?
Indeed.
So out of out of these games coming up for the Caps, which one, aside from the one you're going to, which one are you looking at for them to really nail home again? So after the West Coast swing, they come home and they have back-to-back division games. Sunday, December 7th, home against Columbus, and then Thursday, December 11th against Carolina.
Well, I think the Western situation is interesting because it seems like we never play very well against the Kings, especially in their barn. So to have to start it out there and then play a back-to-back against a hot and young, fast San Jose team right now, I am a little worried we could start off this road trip on the wrong foot big time. And I guess it's good that after that they've got a couple days before that Anaheim game to recoup if necessary. But yeah, it's really going to just depend on how things get started, which you guys will already know how that got started by the time you're listening. But yeah, I think that's my answer is I want a hot start on the road in the West. And if we can get a win in LA, build off that, I'll feel good about it.
Yeah, I would agree. That West Coast swing, we've talked about it at length. It's always tough, especially for, teams flying across the country. I know the West has to do it a lot more than the East does, but, that's just how she goes. I think I'd be happy with 2 out of 3 there. If you can pull out something like that, I think that would be fantastic. Come home, and then really for me, that game against Carolina is the one I'm circling. That's like a mid-December game, kind of sets the tone for how things are going to be in this division going into this late December, Christmas, New Year's dead zone that we always get. So, for you and I who are, in the staunch position of this team plays better when they don't have a lot of rest. That's what I want to see them do is win this game against Carolina before we hit that like dead zone of December.
Yep. I think that's a great point. We're starting to see what this team is made out of. And I think, like you said, that's just kind of the point of the year we've come to here. Right around the holidays, you start to really find out what all your favorite teams are made of. So buckle up, everybody. It should be an interesting next couple weeks as we head into Christmas. I can't believe it's already Christmas already, but here we are.
That is wild. Quick NCAA update. Standings stay pretty much the same. Michigan 1, Wumbo 2, Sparty 3, but I want to give a huge shout out to Army West Point for upsetting number 18 UMass over the weekend 5-4. That was a huge victory for that program. Only thing I have to say that's negative about that is we are from Maryland, so go Navy.
That's right. Yeah, that's fair. Also on the NCAA front, they are once again doing the NCAA slate of games at Pfizer Forum again this year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it. I do have some big plans to go to the Ravens-Packers game that weekend, but just wanted to shout that out because it's a really cool initiative. I'm glad they've kept up with that. The whole mill hockey scene, trying to get hockey in Milwaukee, get it hyped up, and it's some good games. I think BC is playing here. Wow. I can't remember all 4 teams that are here this year, but yeah, just glad to see that still happening.
I think that's one of the cool things too about just like random college hockey games. If you can find them, go to them. Even like schools that you don't think would be great. Those are some of the best hockey teams on the planet. Western Michigan won the national championship last year. St. Thomas just got official D1 status, like I think 18 months ago, and those guys look completely legit. I mean, you play a team like Michigan Tech or Lake Superior State, and it's just a bunch of 23, 4-year-old full-grown men at that point. I mean, what's not to love?
Amen.
Let's do a little trivia, and then we'll wrap her up here.
Sounds good. Yeah, this one, I actually found this. I meant to do this one last week because we had a 4-goal game in the NHL, but I was looking at all the players, all the active players who have had a 4-goal game. There's actually quite a lot of them, but there's only 4 players active in the NHL right now who have had multiple 4-goal games.
Okay.
You think you can get all 4?
So one is going to be Ovi.
Correct. He's had 4 4-goal games. No one else has even had 3.
I believe I was at 2 of them. So I was at the one against Montreal where he breaks his nose and then scores a hat trick, and then the overtime game winner. I was at the one against Tampa where the Caps were like down 5-1, and then he scores 4, and they like force OT and then win it in overtime. Fuck, this is hard. Matthews?
Nope, he only has one.
He only has one, which is his very first NHL game.
Correct. Which that's a good guess that he might have found a second one since then, but
I was banking on that. Does Kaner have any?
He might have one, but he's not one of the multiple.
Okay.
Evander Kane has one, which is crazy.
Wow, that's wild. This is such a shot in the dark, but I feel like Anthony Mantha has had a 4-goal game at some point.
Not that I can validate here, but here, let me make this a little more interesting for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. So you're missing 3 guys. They've all had exactly 2 4-goal games in their career.
Okay.
2 of these are locks for the Hall of Fame. They're not weird at all. These are just like classic fucking really good players in the league. One of them, I don't know if you could say lock for Hall of Fame because he's just not that far along in his career yet, but we already talked about him this episode.
Oh, okay. Is Sid on there?
Not for multiple. In fact, I don't even see him for single.
Damn, that's crazy. I thought for sure he'd have at least one in there just because it's Crosby. McDavid?
Nope.
What
He's had
the
one.
hell?
He's had
Okay.
one.
Willie Nylander?
Nope. But that's
Okay.
a little bit closer to like the non-lock Hall of Fame guy I'm talking about. That again.
Tavares?
No, but good. We did talk about him this episode.
This is tough. I feel like I'm missing some just like A-list layups here, aren't I?
All right, look. Let's get the Hall of Famers. They're both Western Conference players. They both played for one team their whole career. One of them, he's got some time left in this league. The other one does not.
Okay. One has some time left in this league. The other one doesn't.
We know he doesn't.
Okay.
Cue the steering wheel punchers.
Kopitar?
Yes,
Nice.
correct. 2 4-goal games for Mr. Anze.
Wow. Okay, so that's obviously the guy who we know doesn't have a lot of time left in this league.
But I would say lock for Hall of Fame, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
2 cups and all
I
those
just want to
numbers.
make sure I'm not crazy. But
No,
yeah.
absolute lock for Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Is Jonathan Taves the other guy?
No, but
Okay.
I would think. Actually, I don't even think he has one.
Interesting.
Plus, Taves has played for 2 teams in his career now.
True, that's right.
Now, this guy, younger than Kopitar, but already we've seen everything we need to see that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Kaprizov?
No, he's older than that. But
Okay.
this guy is like, you could argue he's the best player in the league. Some people would say that.
Whoa. The dog?
Yeah, it's Nate Mack.
Nice.
Okay, now, so you've got Ovi, you've got Nate Mack, you've got Kopitar. Let's flip back over to the East Coast. This is a guy who's got plenty of time left in his career. We talked about him earlier this episode.
Okay.
He does not play in the Metro Division, but he is an East Conference player, so
He's an Eastern Conference player.
that would put him in the Atlantic Division.
It is correct. Tage.
Correct.
Nice.
2 4-goal games for Tage Thompson, 2 for Nathan McKinnon, 2 for Anze Kopitar, and 4 for Alex Ovechkin.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yep.
Didn't I don't know, like as soon as you started talking about like 4-goal games, all like the one-off random guys like came to my mind, like Fabian Brunstrom having like a 4-goal game randomly, or my favorite 4-goal game, an 8-point night of all time, Sam Gagner for the Edmonton Oilers when he did that.
Right. Yeah, no, the list I had was only active players to do it, but there are some like fun. Like I didn't realize Kempe had one. I don't remember when that was. Cooley has one.
Right, he just had that the other day, right?
Yeah, I think that's why this was put out. Timo Meyer has had one. Patrick Laine has had one.
Hurdle had one, right?
I'm almost certain he did. Wasn't that the game where he like put one in between his legs
and then passed Marty
I'm not seeing him on this
ear.
list, so maybe this is like not a complete list or something. But yeah. Anyway, fun stuff.
That is wild, man. It has been, I saw when I saw Cooley scored 4 the other day, I was thinking about that. I was like, it's been a long time since I've watched someone do that. Just because, I mean, a hat trick's already hard enough, but I mean,
Right.
4 is insane.
That's so funny.
Anything else before we wrap up here?
That'll do it. If for some reason you're going to be in Anaheim this Friday, come say hey, I guess.
Yeah.
Or don't. I'm going to be with my sister. Leave me alone.
Are you going to get one of those Wild Wing hats if they have them for
Dude,
sale?
if they do, I might have to. Those things are so sweet. I definitely want to check out the merch and see if there's anything good in the shop.
Or like the duck web feet Crocs they were giving
Those
away
are
too?
maybe even cooler.
Like, I can't think of a cooler look than like going out to get your paper on a Sunday morning just in a Tony Soprano robe and some like Anaheim Ducks bright orange
That would
Crocs.
be sweet. Yep.
Well, thank you guys again for listening. Make sure you're liked, subscribed, all that on YouTube. Follow us on social media. We're going to be posting some fun stuff this week, and we will catch you guys in the next episode.